I'm the Deadwood Jedi, and this is going to be part 2 of this gear cleansing series. Yesterday we were looking at the different sets primarily. Today we're going to be really focused on the individual pieces of gear, how to go through it, what breaks down as far as something to keep or something to throw away. And I'm trying to go through it pretty extensively so you have a pretty good idea. You get a few different examples. As always, these are my opinions. This is the way I go through it. It's not the only way. You might value certain stats more than I do, and that's reasonable. I spend a lot of time working on clan boss, so that's always my focus. I focus a lot more on defense than I would say offense, but I think the principles here still apply, and so I think that's something you guys are going to be able to use. And I take a lot of this stuff is not just my ideas, but it's stuff I've gleaned from other YouTubers that you've watched around the way, Murder Inc., Hell Hades, others, and just as far as how I go about kitting out my champions, how I go about looking at gear. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and jump into it, and yeah, we'll come back at the end. There's two stages when you're cleansing your gear, really. It's the harsh and the not so harsh. So when you're doing the not so harsh, so like let's say our speed sets, right? I want to go through here. Now, one thing you kind of want to think about too is synergy, right? So if I'm looking at speed sets right here, guess what subset I want on those? Because I'm putting these on to make my champions faster. I'm not putting speed sets on champions I don't need speed. They all need speed. So I'm always looking to put speed sets, speed substats on my speed gear. That's always something I'm looking for. Doesn't mean that's the only thing I'm looking for, but if I have speed substats, I'm almost definitely going to roll it with my speed gear. That's going to help me for a couple things. I'm going to have a variety of speed, so when I'm trying to tune for clan boss, I have a couple different options I can choose. When I'm trying to tune for arena, same thing. I can swap in a couple different speed sets and try and get that speed just the number that I need to. That's important to have that kind of range in speed sets. So even something like this is not a great piece, right? But it does have a speed substat. So one of the things I'm always looking for are those substats, specifically speed. If something has a speed substat, I'm definitely going to be rolling it up. I want to see if it hits twice. So we got one hit on speed, excellent. We're going to see if we can't get another one. And if we can, perfect. 15 speed right there. We can put a glyph on that, get it closer to 20. That's an end game piece right there, guys. That's simple to look at. So when you're looking, when I'm looking at my gear, I take advice. This is a piece of advice from Hell Hades. I want to make sure that I have two substats that I like. The exceptions are crit rate and speed. And the reason why those are the exceptions is I always want to get my champions up to 100% crit rate. Not every champion, obviously. They don't need it. They don't hit hard. It's not important. But the champions that I do want to do some damage, I'm always going to try to get it to 100% crit rate. And so if there's a crit rate substat, I do want to roll that and see if I hit it. Because if I can get a double hit on crit rate, that's going to be great, right? 6-star piece double hit on crit rate, we're talking up to 1820 crit rate total. That's a huge bonus. Same thing with speed. You saw what just happened there. We rolled a speed helmet, and it started with speed and resistance, right? One great, one not so great. We rolled it once, got to 10, rolled it twice, got to 15. All of a sudden, it's a good speed gear piece just by rolling that to level 8 to see where it went to, right? Now, when I'm going through this, I'm just leveling it up to 8 usually, sometimes 12, oftentimes just 4, just to see if we get the hits that we need. And if we don't, we can sell it. If we do, great, we can keep it, we can use it. Now, another thing, obviously, to keep in mind, you can see how little speed gear we actually have here. I don't even have speed substats selected. This is just all the speed gear we have that's not on champions already. That means it's going to be more, some of this stuff is more valuable than others. So like this, defense percentage gloves, speed substat, I don't care if we hit speed or not. Obviously, I want to. But we just don't have the options in the selections. So right now for this account, this is definitely something we're going to want to keep. As you get further along, like my account, I've like, you know, half a dozen defense gloves with speed substats. So at that point, if I don't hit speed, I might actually sell that because it might not be useful for me. But this one is great. We hit speed twice. This account has all the luck today. Speed boots, always good, especially in a speed set. Now going through with what we have here. As I said, speed subset and speed set, I definitely want to keep that. This does not, but we do get a double roll in attack that could prove useful in the future, especially with the accuracy. That's pretty solid. Now, I was talking, I do think I mentioned, I should probably go back a little bit. When we're talking about the weapon, we're talking about the helmet, we're talking about the shield. They all have the same main stat. So all we're looking for is the substat. And as I said, if it's got speed, we want to roll it and see if it hits. If it's got crit rate, we want to roll and see if it hits. Those are the only two where I will roll those even if the rest of it's garbage. Otherwise, I want to have at least 2 good ones. When I'm looking at a 6-star or looking at a legendary piece like this, what's good? Percentages, right? Anything percentages. So you see this one has attack percentage and it's got crit rate percentage. Those are great. I like those. Resistance, I don't use resistance very much. And if I am going to use resistance, it's only in arena. And if I'm going to use resistance in arena, I'm probably going to be using resistance sets. Or I'm just going to use immunity gear. But I don't need a lot of resistance in my substat. So for me, generally, resistance is a trash substat. I know there are people that are going to disagree with that, and that's fine. So if that's not how you guys play, that's totally reasonable, right? You can put this in whatever category you want. But for me, it's useless. Flat stats. We already talked about how much better percentages are than flat stats. So accuracy, crit damage percentage, those are both okay substats. They're lower tier for me than like defense percentage, HP percentage, attack percentage. But they are very useful. Crit damage is going to be better the further along in the game you are. The more end game you are, the more valuable that is, as it's easier for you to gear crit rate on your champions, and so the crit damage has more potential to it. Earlier on, I wouldn't even worry about it, frankly. Accuracy, kind of the same thing. As you get further along in the game, accuracy becomes more important, and it's nice to be able to put it actually in your gear substats, so you don't need to have the banner with it. That's something that can happen a fair amount. So like this is a good weapon to roll up because we have speed and crit damage. And the speed kind of trumps it. This one, we only had speed, but we did get that double roll. And you can see, now this is a great piece. And that's why I will roll speed substat gear. This one, again, crit rate, same thing, right? I would roll this simply because getting 15% crit rate makes that a very good piece for me. If it had split, it'd been an okay piece. If we had 1 crit rate, 1 crit damage, it'd been okay, but it wouldn't be useless, right? Here, you can see, so we have speed substat, accuracy, HP percentage. So this is a piece I would have rolled up, but we didn't hit any speed. I don't think we need to throw this away because I feel like this can be useful. 6-star, we do have some good substats in there, but it's not ideal. And I'm probably not going to ever roll this up to 16. That's probably a waste of silver because I don't need that little boost of speed that badly. I'm finding it on another shield. Speaking of on another shield, here we go. We got 8%. This is very similar, right? We got 8 speed here. We did hit it once. I would consider rolling this to 12, see if we hit it again. If we don't, I probably was going to go ahead and sell this. It's only a 5-star piece. It's not giving us anything spectacular as far as like the substat stuff goes. HP percentage is good. Flat HP is useless. Crit damage is okay. Speed is good. So you can see here, we're not getting any help with our crit rate. Our speed is, we have some speed on it, but not a ton. This is not a piece I would necessarily sell right away, but eventually I would. On this account right now, I think this could be okay. It could be used somewhere, but it's not a great piece. It's very similar to this one here, right? A little bit of crit damage, a little bit of speed. Neither of these are actually very good. In fact, I am going to sell these now that I look at them. I don't think they're going to be helpful for this account where we're at. Same thing here. We do have a much bigger crit damage. Those double rolls are always more useful. Defense is good. Speed is just really slow. I'm not seeing that we're going to be able to use this. Same thing here. Now, these are not trash pieces, but for this account, we are trying to cleanse this gear. And like I said before, life set is nowhere near as good as immortal set, and we have a ton of that stuff. So that's really what we're going to go through. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these. Offense set is going to be the same kind of concept. So let's go ahead and look at some new gear so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. What do we roll? What do we keep? What do we trash? So looking at the new gear, attack percentage, that's good. Speed subset, that's good. HP subset, excellent. All right, so this is definitely something I want to roll up and see where we're going to get to. Now, I know because it's got a speed subset, I'm already going to roll it to 8 to see if it hits. All I need is 1 hit, and this is definitely a useful piece for me. Even if I don't get any hits, it might be a useful piece for me. But I'm going to go ahead and give it that roll and see, is this something I want to keep? Is this something I'm going to want to something I'm going to want to level up? All right, guys, so you can see we ended up hitting double HP percentage. This can be a useful piece. I could actually see this going on a Rotos very easily. Getting that HP, getting that attack percentage, not too shabby. So that's why we go ahead and continue to roll that one up. Moving on to the chest, again, defense percentage. And look, we got HP and crit rate substats. We do want to see, because we don't have speed on this, if we don't hit the right substats, we're probably going to sell it. Speed is king in this game, guys, so you definitely want to know that. Again, we're going to be going, I'm going to roll this up to 8. If we can hit crit rate, hit HP, I think we'll be in okay shape. So we did hit crit rate once. The only thing, I might roll this a 4 like in the future. If it wasn't 6-star, if it wasn't in Relentless gear, I might roll it to 4. And if we hit that flat defense, I might have sold it right there. We need a double roll on this crit rate to really make this worth it, or we need double rolls on crit rate and HP to really make it worth it. So at this point, it's a bit questionable, right? If we're bringing in defense percentage, that's great, but we need something more than just that. We want to get crit rate in it, or we want to get speed in it. I'm not sure that we're going to get a double crit rate roll. So with this piece, I'm going to probably sell this, because we're doing a deep cleanse. Now, for my account, I actually probably would hold on to this. I might even roll it all the way up to 12, see where we get to, see if that's worth it or not. Because if we hit HP, if we hit crit rate, all of a sudden that I can see a spot where that's used. But it is very difficult to use gear without speed on it. Very difficult. Most of my gear, I would say a good 80 to 90% of it, has speed substats on it. Speed is king. You go first, you win. You go last, you don't. That's like 90% of arenas that. We all know that. So having speed in your subset's so big. The other big thing is crit rate. Because it is defense percentage, there is a possibility that this will be okay without the speed. So we'll go ahead and hold on to that right now. We're not going to finish rolling it up, but we might come back to that type of a thing. This is useless to us. We don't have crit rate. We don't have speed. We do have 2 decent substats, right? We got HP percentage and accuracy. So if you wanted to roll this, I could see that happening. But for this account, this is not going to be helpful for us. When you're using Relentless gear, you're trying to get your champions to take multiple turns. Well, that best way to do that, have them go fast. There's no speed on this. You want them to take multiple turns so they can hit hard. That means crit rate. There's no crit rate on this. We're not going to be using this set. So there's no point in keeping that. And that's something you kind of keep in mind when you're talking about attack sets. Is it helping you attack? Then why would you keep it? Defense set, is it helping you stay alive? Then why would you keep it? Those are kind of things you want to keep in mind as well. Looking at the helmet, again, you know, if we rolled a bunch of crit damage, we can roll that to 4 and then up again. This is kind of a similar spot, and then this does have crit rate on it, so we'll go ahead and roll that a little bit. So let's see. Let's look at this. So for this, we do have 3 good substats, that's for sure. But the only way we're going to use this, as I said before, Relentless gear, we don't have speed, we don't have crit rate. Only thing I can see this being used for is crit damage, and putting it with pairing it with a crit rate glove, or just insane crit rate throughout the rest of the gear. I'm not seeing that. I don't think we're going to use this. I'm going to go ahead and sell it. And it's going to be the same thing with this one right here. That other piece, this other one is actually a really good piece, right? It's got 3 good subsets, so definitely worth rolling most of the time. But if we're being really honest with ourselves, we're not going to use these pieces, guys. Even this, even with those great subsets, we're just not going to use them. So one of the things I could do, and I'll go ahead and do that now, let's go ahead and roll this to 8. And if we get it, because all the subsets are good, we can roll it to 8. If we get a double hit on the defense, then all of a sudden this becomes a great broken set piece, right? All of a sudden we maybe can put that on a defensive champion somewhere else. We did not get that. This is just not going to be something we're going to use. So we'll go ahead and trash that then. Let's go ahead and look at the weapon. Now again, for this one, we're looking for double rolls on either the attack percentage or the crit rate. Preferably the crit rate, but we'll see how this works. We hit accuracy right off the bat. Not what we were looking for, and that makes it a little bit interesting. So go ahead and hit this. Now we do need the crit rate is really what we're looking for, and we didn't get that. We're just not going to use this, guys. Even if it gets a double roll on the attack, we're talking maybe 17%, 18%. Just not something we're going to keep. So we can go ahead and sell that as well. Moving down here, defense percentage, but it's on a cruel set. Why would you do this for attack stuff? This is nothing. This is not what we're going to be using. This is attack percentage with speed subsets, great. Accuracy, again, I don't want accuracy chests on an attack champion. And if it's not an attack champion, I don't want to use Cruel Set. So we won't need that. This one right here, you can see there's nothing on there that we need. No crit rate. This is a crit rate set. There's no crit rate in the build. There's no attack in the build. There's nothing that you would use crit rate with. We don't need it. We look at this shield here. Now this is a great piece, right? We got speed, we got crit rate, we got crit damage. 100%, we're keeping it. I don't even need to roll it. I know we're going to keep it. That's something we can roll later and we'll use. Again, speed, attack, HP percentage. Definitely going to keep that piece. Those are both pieces we will definitely be able to use. Swift parry boots. All right, so HP percentage with speed, substat, crit rate percentage, and accuracy. 100% we're going to keep that, right? We will roll that up. We will keep that. The only reason why I wouldn't want to use this is if we got a triple roll on accuracy, in which case we'd want to use it because we got a triple roll on accuracy. That's useful. So this is 100% a keeper right there. Percentage, or perception, defense percentage with speed subset. Again, just like before, this is definitely something we're going to want to roll up and see how it goes. Now, if this does not hit, if it hits like a double flat HP, we could sell this. At that point, I'd want to see, how many defense percentage chess pieces do I have with speed on them? Just in the account in general. If we have a bunch, then I can sell it. If we don't, then I might hold on to it because I'm like, that's something that I would definitely want to put on my defensive champions. But you can see we did get one roll. That's enough, I think, to justify keeping this. We don't want to roll it to 16 until we actually decide to gear it on somebody. But definitely, I can see that being a useful piece. Well, hopefully that was helpful for you guys. You learned a lot. Hopefully there's some information in there you got at least. But that's the end of part 2 of the gear cleanse. We're going to have part 3 tomorrow where we talk about the jewelry. So that should be, I think, really informative for everybody as well. If you enjoyed this, go ahead, hit that like button. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification bell down below so you don't miss tomorrow's upload. But till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.